Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. Star Citizen Alpha 3.21.1 is now live, and it brings with it several new ships and vehicles that you'll be able to purchase or try during the 2953 Intergalactic Aerospace Expo that starts today. We are going to be talking about the Tumbril Storm and the new AA variant, as well as the GATAC Syulen. So the GATAC Syulen, it's triangular. It's imposing, it's alien, monolithic, and unique. These are all words that CIG used to describe it. Basically, it's a civilian starter ship, but with Xi'An style and tech. It's the first ship from GATAC that we have in-game. It's suitable for both Xi'An and humans to use, which is going to be interesting to see. They are seemingly bolstering the ranks of the Xi'An ships pretty quickly in-game, with the Ryland coming pretty soon, most likely. Obviously, we've got the K2Al, which is the sort of light Xi'An fighter. We've got the Santok Yai, the medium Xi'An fighter, which is coming in 3.22. Anyway, going back to the Syulen, it's a vertical ship. It's very differently sort of arranged and orientated compared to other ships, especially when landed. So approaching it from outside, there is a airlock which sort of opens up into the ship with like gravlev tech, so it takes the wall and builds stairs with it, and this leads to the ground floor. The ship is then sort of built of metallic rocky substances. There is component access on that bottom floor, and the compartments open with that gravlev tech as well, sort of hiding the panels when they are opened up. There is room for armor and a weapons rack that pops out of the wall. You can put a load of weapons there. There's an elevator then that takes you to the 3 floors of the ship. Obviously, we're at one of them already. The next deck is habitation in the center of the ship. Pretty minimalistic here. There's a bed. There's also like a rocky roof that makes you feel like you're in a cave or like a high-tech terrarium, maybe. There's a little bathroom that's hyper over-engineered that uses Xi'An tech to reveal the human toilet and toilet roll. There's a sink that's also built a little bit like a urinal there that I believe Xi'An used to poop in. Moving up to the top and last floor, this is the sort of pilot and cockpit area. It's very gothic. It's like a cathedral with the pilot seat as an altar. When you enter the seat, it takes you on one hell of a journey up to the canopy of the ship, and this sort of like seals you off into that pilot part of the ship where you'll be doing your flying and all that sort of jazz. But it feels quite far away from where the pilot seat was originally. So the ship itself takes off vertically. So that's very different from other ships in the game. You're literally pointing upwards when you take off. It feels very alien, and yeah, it's truly a vertical takeoff and landing ship. It transforms from landed to flight ready, sort of folding upwards. It's got 24 maneuvering thrusters, which is a load for its size. It's very agile for a starter ship in both atmosphere and space. Landing the ship takes a little bit more thought, as you are landing on your bum rather than your belly. CIG see this as a second tier starter ship, so one you might naturally move on to from like the Aurora or Mustang, or instead maybe you want to start the game with. It's got onboard living. It's got good systems, it's reasonably long range, it's basically suitable for a huge range of multi-role tasks, a little bit of everything. I didn't see what it had in terms of cargo storage though. I'm not sure what cargo storage it has. It does appear to have 3 size 3 weapons, which is quite a lot of firepower. That should be on sale and flyable later today. The Tumbril Storm, that's a light assault scout tank for a single pilot. It is now available to drive in-game. It values speed and agility over just raw firepower and armor, but it is still a tank. It's more tanky than a Cyclone or most other vehicles, just not as tanky as a Nova, for example. Very good for recon and flanking. It's got double tracks, which might in real life be a bad idea because it might be more vulnerable to taking damage on the tracks. However, in a video game, it looks cool. The front of the tank opens up for the pilot, and that sort of like pulls you in, kind of wearing a tank as a suit. It does have some weapon storage and stuff on the sides of the tank that you can open up, and component access and all that sort of jazz. When you're inside the tank, you kind of have cameras for your view rather than seeing through glass. Obviously, it's armored for the pilot. There is no walkable interior, though. You are just sort of like encased in the tank. The pilot has full access to drive and fire the turret. So it can just move and fire. It's designed to work in tandem with Nova tanks, so it sort of scouts ahead and then assists in the fights and flanks when the enemies are engaged, or will take out artillery rapidly, that sort of stuff. It's got a very powerful bespoke size 3, I believe, dual-barreled laser repeater, so infantry are going to be relatively scared of it. They then showed off the Storm AA variant. So this changes the energy repeater into a missile array, and it looks like at the moment that they probably are going with 32 size 1 missiles and 8 size 2 missiles for this. So they did say that they were still finalizing the amount that it had currently, but it's going to have a ton of missiles, and with the addition of being able to lock ground targets with ground vehicles in this latest patch, this means it's going to be very useful both against ground and air targets. Both those Storms, as they're much shorter than a Nova, it can be carried in a lot more ships, though it's still quite wide, but it can fit in things like a Carrack now. I believe the Tumbril Storm was last on sale between $70 and $80, and I'd expect it to be around the same this time, and the AA variant maybe to be like $5 more, something like that. They then talked about the Spirit C1. I do have a dedicated video on the Spirit C1, but this is the cargo / multi-role version of the Spirit series of Crusader ships. The A1, that's already in game. This one has cargo instead of boom booms. It directly competes with the Cutlass Black and Freelancer, with a little larger profile, but with some more style and apparently some more speed and agility. It can store 32 SCU of cargo, but can also fit a wide range of ground vehicles inside, so Cyclone sized and below. It has advantages over the Hull A, for example, which the Hull A carries about the same amount of cargo, but it carries that externally. So you carry the cargo internally with this and have more weaponry and that sort of jazz going on, although it might take you a bit longer to load and unload compared to the Hull A, but your cargo is safer. It has some good weaponry and is a great multi-role mission running ship. One of the great things about the ship that it now has as a function that you can do in game now is the rear tractor beam. So you can move this tractor beam from the top of the ship to the bottom of the ship, and from the top of the ship it can sort of has a nice wide arc to grab items and cargo, pull it towards you, and then when it's at the bottom of the ship you can use it to manage and stack your cargo. Ship scale tractor beams, really, really cool in game. All of these ships and vehicles will be available to try and buy during the IAE. If you have one in your hangar, you can literally fly or drive it right now. Basically, Tumbril Storm, you can use that immediately as soon as they're on sale or whatever, like the Storm AA variant on their appropriate day, you'll be able to buy that. Today's Alien Day at time of recording, so you'll be able to grab yourself a GATAC Syulen. Typically, these ships won't be purchasable in-game, though, with in-game credits for at least 3 months, and so basically it then goes on to the next major patch. So it's likely we'll be waiting until March 2024 with the Q1 patch before Cloud Imperium allow us to have those ships bought in-game shops. Cloud Imperium having that 3-month exclusivity period for real money purchases, basically. But you will be able to try them during the IAE for free, so check them out, see what you think. You'll be able to get all of these ships and more in-game at some point. You don't have to spend any money beyond a starter pack, just bear that in mind. But I'm really interested to know what you think. Are you excited by any of those ships or vehicles? Is the GATAC Syulen, you're like, oh, actually, this looks awesome. I really love the way it looks and the way it looks like it flies. The Storm, are you excited to see those in game? Do you think people will start using ground vehicles more and more and more? Obviously, the Spirit C1 as well. That ship is flyable in game now, and people, lots of people have already bought one, but it'll be available again during Crusader Day. Is that going to be replacing your Cutlass Black or your Freelancer? Or do you prefer a different ship over it? Whatever your thoughts or questions, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. What is best in life? To crush your enemies? To see them driven before you? And to hear the lamentations of their women? No, of course not. It's NordVPN. I never saw Conan the Barbarian checking his bank balance and then watching some cool shows on Netflix, all while protecting his privacy and being super secure. To be honest, I can't even remember Conan wearing a shirt. Silly Conan. And now, a big old snake god's got your internet history. Good job. Don't be a Conan the Barbarian. Check out NordVPN. Links below for powerful discounts too. Every month we've been giving away a ship for Star Citizen, but for November, to celebrate the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo 2953, we are giving away a load of different ships, each to a different person. The Avenger Titan, the Drake Cutter, the C8X Pisces, the Mustang Alpha, and the Nomad. All great starter ships, but also useful for any fleet. They all come with a game package and lifetime insurance. That's all you need to start playing Star Citizen. That's 5 prizes and 5 chances to win. Just comment on any of my videos made during November to be in for a chance of winning. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that goes the extra mile in supporting the channel via Patreon or the join button under my videos and then becoming a channel member. Please consider joining those fabulous people as well. It allows us to make daily content for Star Citizen and Squadron 42, delving into all the news, drama, development info, and gameplay that these games have to offer. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the verse.